you get to perform a treatment, and then you bring a patient back in. And you get to talk to them about their life, how their expectations were met or not met, how they feel, what the outcome was. You get incredible information from this patient. And one of the best ways to take advantage of people being happy with you is to guide them to a review at that moment. Welcome to another episode of the Physician Growth Accelerator, a show where we break down your medical practice systems into vitals, give you the tools to diagnose root cause of what may be restricting your growth, and best of all, prescribe what to do about it. I'm your host, Zed Williamson, and I believe that every system is perfectly designed to get the result it gets. The freedom in that belief is just we get to own this outcome, whether we like it or not. But if we don't like it, good news, we just tweak the system. If you're listening to this podcast, first off, if you've gotten any value out of previous episodes, please go to wherever you listen to your podcast and just click the stars, give us some reviews. If you want to type something, great. If not, no worries. But it helps other people find it. And we're getting a lot of really good, powerful feedback from listeners that we are striking some nerves and giving people tools that are helping them achieve goals, which I absolutely love. And I just want more people to come across that information. And if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to assume that there's some level of constraint that is keeping you from achieving the goals you want to achieve in your practice. Maybe it feels like you're just get busier, but there's no benefit to being busier. Maybe it just feels like something's just always out of reach, or the universe kind of pushes back with reducing reimbursements or increased cost. If that's you, go to physiciangrowthaccelerator.com and check your vitals and get an idea of where these constraints may be in your practice. Now, speaking of vitals, we're going to talk about one of the vitals that we measure, and it's in the experience stage of things. So I want you to imagine this patient. They were dealing with issues, frustrated, in pain, not sure who to trust. They wind up at your office. They trust you. They do everything. They move forward. You perform a treatment, and they are going, sweet, finally. It's that patient that you probably hear all the time say, man, I wish I would have done this sooner. And the vital that we're going to talk about today is the influencer vital. Now, this isn't, some crazy TikTok social media influencer person getting those people into your practice. It's just that this person now has all the experience and information to be ambassador for your practice. And are you doing anything about that? Is it a strong part of your practice where you know reliably and predictably that this person is going to help make other patients aware of what you can do for them? That's the influencer vital. So, things to look for in the influencer vital. Do you get reviews from patients post-treatment? And are they talking about what they have experienced as it affects their life? And then also, are you tracking patient referrals to your practice that are coming from patients? So meaning the patient told their family member, friend, loved one, coworker that they should come see you. And the reason why I ask, are you tracking it, is because our brain is good at making up information. Meaning, if my question was, do you get those patients? Probably everyone listening would go like, oh, yeah, I get those patients. And that's because you remember the one time 19 years ago where someone said, oh, my brother sent me. And so your brain grabs onto that and goes, oh, that must happen all the time. Tracking is what's important. Our brain tends to pay attention to spikes and then put belief on it. And sometimes we're not really remembering what actually happened. And that's why tracking is important. So do you track how many patients come to your practice referred by other patients? And so clearly, if we measure that, then it's something we can improve. You can't improve anything you don't measure. So simply starting the process, if you take one thing away today and you start to go do, is start tracking that. And maybe your system is set up where you can go back in time and identify those patients, and now you can see what that looks like month to month. If not, just start today. Today is better than not starting. So if you track that, then you have a baseline in which you can improve from. But when it comes to patient reviews, is your staff following a process that is a written, scripted process to get that patient to leave a review? Because it's pretty interesting. You know, there are businesses that do work for people, and then they just have to sit there, cross their fingers, and hope that those people leave a positive review because they don't really know, because the stuff happens outside of the business. With you, you get to perform a treatment, and then you bring a patient back in. And you get to talk to them about their life, how their expectations were met or not met, how they feel, what the outcome was. You get incredible information from this patient. And one of the best ways to take advantage of people being happy with you is to guide them to a review at that moment. Because here's the thing with reviews. We can have a philosophical discussion as to not whether patients should look at reviews. It's kind of worthless, though, because they will. They're going to look at reviews, and they're going to make decisions based on it. Or I should say they're going to let their decisions be guided by it. And here's why that is. As humans, say thousands and thousands of years, we have typically existed in these smaller communities. And the community was very important. If we were ever ostracized from a community, it basically meant certain death. And so our trust of what we believe is our community will absolutely drive our decisions. And that is why if someone goes and sees patients' experience, they see that as their community. They see that as someone like them who've made a decision ahead of theirs and have experienced an outcome that is guiding that person. So it is truly rooted in human behavior. It's not just, oh, look, they got some reviews, I should go over there. There's a lot of stuff happening in the subconscious. So if you're not dealing with the reviews and you're just getting what happens on accident, you're putting yourself in a position that's going to equal less patients. Now, if that's okay with you, then that's fine. I don't have an opinion about that. It's just if we are going to talk about the idea of, do we want patients referring other patients? Do we want patients coming in because they've witnessed other people having success? Well, that is a perfect outcome of a system designed to generate it. So if you're not operating that system, you shouldn't really expect those patients. But there's a pretty easy way to operate that system. The key is talk to the patient at the post-op. Hey, how's it going? Do you know that there are patients like you all over the world, and a lot of them don't know that something can be done? They just continue on their life day after day in misery, thinking this is just the way I'm supposed to live. And so I'm really glad that you found us. I'm glad that we've been able to take care of this issue. And that patient their mind just went, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. That alone, if you don't ask for a review, that alone will tell the patient subconsciously to go out and spread the word. So when they come across someone who's maybe limping or whatever you've helped them fix, they're going to ask a question. Hey, have you ever talked to someone about this? Let me make a recommendation. That simple conversation will drive new patients. Now, there are personality profiles who are comfortable leaving reviews, and there are personality profiles who are not going to do it. But you don't hurt anybody's feelings by asking. And so simply setting up a process, a simple QR code, a link, something that makes it very easy for the patient and for your staff to follow just a scripted line to make sure that they do it every single time. I don't know if you'd be okay with this, but we'd love to let more patients who are in your position know what's available to them. So would you leave a review for our practice? It just helps other patients find it. And everyone will tell you yes, and they'll take the card away, and let's say 30% do it. That doesn't really matter, but the key is the effort. You have to ask all the time. And you are in this perfect scenario where you have good feedback in the office from the patient of where they stand on your process. So you got to ask for reviews. There was some friends were visiting I'm in the New Orleans area, and they wanted to go on a swamp tour. And so I said, okay, let's go. We went on a swamp tour, and it was fun. It was pretty funny and entertaining. And when we pull in, the boat captain says, hey, there's a QR code in front of you. That's how you leave a review. Now, here's most businesses. Most businesses would have stopped there, and maybe they'd get a few reviews. But what he did is he explained why a review matters to the company and why the review matters to him personally. And he connected emotionally with everybody on that boat about this review. Everybody pulled out their phone, scanned the QR code, and left a review. I went to their reviews page. They have 52,000 positive reviews. A swamp tour. Now, they get a lot of people, but your practice sees a lot of people. Do you have 5 reviews? 50? If I start asking about 100 or more, but almost 99% of the audience is going to dip their chin in shame because you don't have those reviews. It's just simply an outcome of asking. You've helped a patient. Help that patient help other patients by asking for a review. And if you feel like the influencer vital is one that's holding back your practice, go to physiciangrowthaccelerator.com because we know where to look and how to fix it. You can request a business assessment review, and we'll dig in. Thanks, and we'll see you again next time on the Physician Growth Accelerator.